everybody, and welcome to another edition of Poland Daily Travel. And as you know, I'm very happy because what's behind me? A castle. The castle in Głogów, the castle of the Dukes of Głogów. Now, the original castle was built by a fellow by the name of Conrad, who was the Duke here. He was the younger brother of the man in charge, and he built a small wooden castle. And he was longing for more power, so eventually he built this tower. Now, that's not the original tower, because, of course, the whole castle was destroyed in 1945, a little thing called World War II. The Russians were advancing, the Germans turned this place into a fortress, and, well, the rest is not history, because there was nothing left. At any rate, the tower itself is about 34 meters tall, and the walls are almost 3 meters thick. So he was very serious, if he was going to build a tower, or castle keep, if you like, that he was going to have a secure tower. Now, if you see over here behind me, well, it's not behind me, it's to my left, to your right, here is the old town. You can see the clock tower, a totally rebuilt old town. Remember, the whole thing was destroyed. The only thing that's original is the stuff that was built after 1945. Everything that was before was gone. So it took them some time and not a little money to create the Głogów, the central Głogów of today. This monument's very interesting. This is a monument to the children of Głogów, and it was built, I think, on the anniversary, with the 60s, I believe, 1966, on the anniversary of 1,000 years of Poland existing. So, and of course, the first kings were the Piast kings, and Conrad was related to those. Now, this commemorates a battle in 1109, I believe it was. Henry, who was a fairly nasty fellow, he was the Holy Roman Emperor, and he said, I want Głogów. So they ringed the city, put a siege on, no one in or out, and he took a bunch of hostages of children, women, etc. Sound familiar? It's an old tactic, and it seems to never go away. So the man, to show he's strong, must kidnap women and children and blackmail his opponents. So next time you feel a little aggrieved about some injury that's been done to you, think about the things that used to happen in medieval times. Torture, not only physical but psychological as well. So they were actually loading the children onto their siege machines and shooting them into the air. So it wasn't a very pretty sight, to say the least. At any rate, the citizens of Głogów withstood, would not surrender, and that also calls to mind other examples of refusals, ultimate refusals over history. And at any rate, that is a monument which was erected to the children who died for their city. How about that? And that was erected during communism. So I suppose because it was against the Germans, the Russians didn't mind, because very little went on in Poland under communism that the Russians didn't really, approve. So there's that. At any rate, let's go around. We'll have a look from the side of the Oder River, because the river's over there. So we'll go around and look at the front, and I'll tell you a little more about contemporary uses of the castle. And that's about it for now. Enjoy the trailer, and see you in a moment. I'm Will Richardson in Głogów. Right. This is the grand entrance. The river's just here. The Bridge of Tolerance is right here. We know it's tolerance because it's painted pink to show tolerance for some reason. I don't know what that means. Anyway, a couple of nice stories about the castle, if I may tell you. Apart from these nice flying buttresses here. It's very cool. Right here. Very nice. They really went all out in creating this as a replica of medieval times. If they put flying buttresses, that's a real Gothic trick. At any rate, one story is of the King Mad John, Mad John really, Zagansky, who let his power go to his head and imprisoned all the town councilors because they wouldn't do what he wanted them to do, which was probably collect a lot of tax for him and his concubines. But at any rate, this Mad John imprisoned all the counselors in the tower that you saw in the first part of this episode, and a lot of them starved to death. So the name of the tower, which I did not know a few minutes ago, but I know now, is Hunger Tower. Hunger Tower. Good name if for a place where people starve to death because you're mad and you imprison them, right? It's now the Archaeology and History Museum. I know that because it's on the sign right there. No, I knew that before. And on another occasion, we might stop by. When we come back on our trip along the Oder River, we might in fact, somebody just pulled their car and almost ran over the cameraman. Interesting. It's a it's a stone bridge, not a car bridge. It's a BMW. That explains it all. Okay, so History and Archaeology Museum, as I was saying, and it's a place we might stop and go inside. But we have further adventures to do on our road trip. We're going ahead to Zagan, and hopefully we're going to do something about the Great Escape, if they'll give us free rein in the museum, and which they said they would. And then we will go on to Jari, which should be interesting. But for right now, we're still here. There was one other story I wanted to tell you. Oh yes, I remember what it is. Now, there was a fellow called, I don't know if you're big history buffs, followers of history. I like history a little bit myself, you know, if you watch this program. But there was a guy called Napoleon Bonaparte. He was a French general, you may have heard of him. And this fella liked this castle. He stayed here when he was in Poland on his way, I suppose, to Russia. Created the Duchy of Warsaw in the beginning of the 1800s. And I believe that was what it was called. Anyway, he created a mini Polish state at that time because Poland had been partitioned by the powers that Napoleon was fighting, which were Prussia, Russia, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So anyway, he stayed here, going in, probably going out, several times. So this was a convenient stop. And I've been telling you, since Roman times, Glogow was on the path. Dresden, come across Głogów, Kalisz, go on the amber trade up to Konin, go straight on to Warsaw. So it's been an important highway and byway, Głogów, for many, many centuries, and even predating this area as a stop-off or a point on the way east to the Amber Route has been in action for since Roman times. Yeah, how about that? That's a lot of traveling over a lot of centuries. All right, that's all we have for today. I'm Will Richardson in Głogów. Try and say that 10 times really fast and see what happens. And you may need to see an orthodontist after that. But do it with someone watching you, just in case. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Don't forget, search Poland Daily Travel on YouTube and on Facebook. Like and subscribe, pretty please, if you like what you're seeing. If you don't like what you're seeing, well, subscribe anyway, it can't hurt you. Okay, see you tomorrow night.